Hello and welcome to Can You Like Nod. Today I'm going to be talking about the obsession of keeping a man and today's very interesting dating advice. So let's get into it. So recently I've been seeing a lot of content surrounding how to keep a man, how to get a man, and the do's and don'ts of dating, specifically towards women. I feel like there's been like a rise in this kind of content. Dating advice has always been a thing all the way up until the 50s and the 60s and even before then. But I feel like since we now live in a very modern world with dating apps and social media, we got Bumble out here, Tinder, Coffee Meets Bagel, OnlyFarmers.com. Like, dating can be very complex and very hard. And so that is when the surge of dating advice, I feel like, has been on the come up. And I want to talk about it. Women are frustrated when it comes to dating and they're not getting to their end goals, which could be marriage, a long-term relationship, or a man who can financially support them. And so this is where these dating influencers slash coaches come in. One of the most popular dating influencers I have personally come across is Shira7.
You said women will tell you they love you and hold your hand but secretly want your bag. Exactly. Men will tell you they love you, hold your hand, but secretly want what's in your pants. Same thing. If he's ugly, maybe imagine yourself spending his money. Imagine him taking you shopping. That's the look you're gonna need. So this is my imagine him taking me shopping look. Like, I know something you don't know. How do you know if a dude is lying if his lips sparkle?
Shira7 gives dating advice to women who are specifically looking for a man to financially support them. A lot of women use her advice not only to find a man who can financially support them, but also just find a man in general. And she says that if you want to attract a certain kind of man, you have to kind of match this certain aesthetic. Her examples of looking like a high value woman is to not wear super dramatic makeup, colorful wigs, long nails. It's like a no-no. Revealing clothing, piercings, things like that. So those are all no-nos. And if you want to attract a high value man, then you need to look like a high value woman, which in her opinion is a woman who is classy, is very basic, luxurious kind of aesthetic. So those are some of the examples of advice that she gives to women who are looking for a high value man to financially support them. There are other dating influencers who also focus on not just financially securing a man who has a lot of money, but they also focus on getting a man who is looking for a long-term relationship and also looking for marriage. I've also been seeing a lot of advice on TikTok, and I used to get really wrapped up in that kind of advice because I was like, ooh, like this sounds like this would really work. They sound really convincing on there. Like, they make it sound like, if you do this advice, then you are going to get this man. That kind of content can keep you hooked, and it's very interesting and very compelling, but not all advice is good advice. So the first kind of dating advice that I have personally come across from is about basically maintaining an air of mystery to keep the other person intrigued and interested, and basically just wanting more of you. The whole mysterious act, like being alluring and mysterious, is something that people recommend a lot to keep a man interested. So instead of laying, all your cards out on the table and being an open book, people suggest that you hold back a little bit. You hold back your personality and who you are, very important qualities about you, and instead maintain this kind of mysterious aura in order to keep the man wanting more. This approach can be cool, and it could work for other people. In my opinion, I feel like this approach is a little inauthentic. You don't have to put everything on the table, and you don't have to tell them everything. You don't have to tell them your life story. If you want to withhold some things, if you want to fall back a little bit, you can. I think it's important to be authentic, and it's important to be yourself. And I feel like if you're keeping up this act of just trying to be like mysterious and alluring, I just feel like that's like lame.
Tomato, I'm throwing tomatoes.
I get the whole idea is to have this man be interested in you. You might not want to show off your personality because I don't know, that might scare them away. Doing that like mysterious and alluring act, I would be tired. You should mix it up. Like, you can still be mysterious or whatever, but you can also still be yourself. If you're not actually that kind of girl and you're something totally different, you know how off-putting it is going to be when you guys, like, let's say you and this man actually get into a relationship and then all of a sudden you're acting different and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna be a little it's gonna be a little weird. That's why I just don't really think that approach is sustainable. Honestly, if someone is being nonchalant and trying to be mysterious with me, I'm gonna just leave them alone. Like, I'm not gonna want to talk to you because what are you doing? Like, just be yourself. You might not even like the person in the end, so like, what are you really doing this for? Just for a man you don't even know if you like or not. You can be authentic and yourself, vulnerable and honest, and someone will stay. A real healthy relationship comes from a place where you are honest, where you're vulnerable, and where you are yourself. Now we're going to talk about the second piece of dating advice that I've been seeing. And this one is leveling up and having a more desirable look.
Yeah.
I think attractiveness, looking good is very, very important in dating. However, these dating coaches and just people in general are advising women to have a more specific look that they can attract the right kind of man. There's a woman on TikTok who basically goes on live, and she goes on live with other women and she tells them what they need to do with their appearance in order to attract, you know, a certain kind of man.
Now for the necklace, I want you to get another on it. I don't like that one. Okay, New York or Compton. That's the vibe I'm getting. We're all here for the level up advice. How do you usually wear your hair?
I flat iron it. I do my own hair. I just had it red, and I kind of want to go black.
You know what? I almost thought, should she go all chocolate, like a deep chocolate brown?
I'll probably just do a lash and lip gloss. You know, not a full beat.
You're going out with your guy, and I know he loves you naturally. I always want you to create a look. I put on a nice dress. I'm going to put on a heel. I'm going to put on a little bit more makeup than usual. I'm going to make sure my hair is did.
They just highly advise on just wearing very basic kind of clothing, having a certain aesthetic and style to, you know, attract most men or a certain kind of man. You should just dress however way you want to dress. If you're really trying to secure this sort of man, go for it. You know, this advice can be harmful for women who are just trying to date and make connections. I don't think you need to change and turn around your entire aesthetic because, ooh, a man might like this. Like, I feel like that shit sounds so ridiculous. Like, looking like this and dressing like this might attract a certain type of person, but I also feel like if that is how you genuinely dress, like, bitch, just dress that way. Yeah, it could attract a certain kind of person, but at the same time, it's like, well, just don't date that person. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to look good, wanting to attract people. However, I do see a problem with solely trying to change your style, the way you look, your aesthetic to attract a man. Like, there's no way I'm gonna turn around my whole closet, change my entire style, change the way I like to dress, look, and express myself because I am trying to get a man. If this is how you dress, if this is how you look, then be that way. Some men are gonna like it and some men aren't going to. It doesn't matter who doesn't like it. It matters who does and who appreciates that side of you. Not every man in the world is going to be attracted to the aesthetic that these influencers or people on TikTok are trying to push. The whole, oh, in order to get a man, you need to look like this. You need to have this kind of hair, this kind of makeup, this kind of look is insane. Just dress how you are, and whoever fucks with that is gonna want to fuck with you. Okay? Okay. Next, we're gonna be talking about number 3, dating advice. A lot of people, especially when they're talking to someone new, have ways that they text to attract the person or keep them wanting to talk to you. A lot of advice that is being put out here when it comes to texting a man is not immediately responding, being dry, being nonchalant, not giving too much energy in messages, not talking to them on the phone for too long. You know, you're just stale as fuck. One of the rules I do agree with, which is avoiding being too available, and the reason why is because you have a life outside of talking to this person. If you give them too much, you're gonna get too emotionally invested too quickly. They're gonna start to become like a part of your routine. Like, you don't need to do all that. Like, you have a life outside of your own. So I think it's just important to still have your space and to take care of your own well-being. And you don't need to be carving out so much time to this man or to this person you're just getting to know. Anyways, I do feel like these rules can honestly just be very tiring. They can create so much anxiety because you're sitting up here analyzing each text and the way you sent it out. It could probably take you 30 minutes to come up with a text so that you don't seem not too interested, but still interested enough to text, but also mysterious and cute and flirty. Like, it's too much, and it just sounds like you're putting way more effort than what you should be. I don't think you need to be overwhelmingly over the top, but I also think you shouldn't be so underwhelming where they're gonna probably not want to keep talking to you because you're boring. I just feel like all that texting stuff is extremely unnecessary. Just go ahead and fucking text the person. You don't need to do too much, but you also just need to be yourself and just keep it pushing. If they stick around, they stick around. If they don't, they don't. It's not that serious. Trust me, I know that. Let's get on to number 4, dating advice. This one talks about strict emotional control, which is the nonchalant attitude. A lot of advice out there is to stay very emotionally distant to protect yourself and maintain control. But honestly, I've been there, done that. It's very unnatural. It's exhausting. You feel very robotic because you're trying to withhold, all your feelings just to remain a certain attitude. And bitch, that shit sucks. I think holding back until commitment is clear is wise, but if you care and if you have all these emotions, then you should be able to express that. You don't necessarily have to express that to the person that you are talking to or dating, but you should be able to be very honest with yourself about how you are emotionally. The best middle ground here is to accept, like, hey, you're having these emotions, you're feeling good about this person, or you're just enjoying your time with them, and to not set expectations. Really just go with the flow, don't attach, and see what happens, but just enjoy yourself. This is number 5, dating advice. This one is about keeping a roster. Basically, if you don't know, keeping a roster means just talking to or dating multiple people. So instead of dating one person or 2 person, you're dating 5. People really love this advice and advise for it because it's supposed to help let you not be super emotionally attached to the person that you are dating. It helps you keep your options open and open the door for different kinds of connections. Dating multiple people or keeping a roster is just very popular, especially with just social media and apps, because you have more options, more options than you would have in real life. However, talking to multiple people all at once, multiple times throughout the week, can be very, very tiring in trying to keep up with certain details, trying to remember the conversation you had with John and how he was talking about how he works in HR, and then you have somebody else and his name is Michael and he works in computer science. You got Ryan over here and he owns his own business. How do you keep up? I've already fucking mixed everybody up. Like, what does Michael do again? What does Ryan do again? Who's John? It's gonna be hard to keep up those details. It's gonna do a number on your brain trying to maintain all of these people and these connections. Keeping a roster is an approach that a lot of people use to keep their options open, to not be emotionally attached to just one person, and it could just be fun to explore more connections than just one person. Talking to all these different people, imagine splitting up all your energy into different people. I don't know how people do it. There are people out here who definitely have like more than 5 people that they're dating all at one time, and I'm just like, how? Rosters can be fun, they can be great, but when you are dividing all of your attention, time, and energy between all these different people, it's a lot of work. I feel like you're putting in way more work than what you would be putting in your own fucking life, trying to keep up with all these people you're talking to. It's okay to have options, but when you are having like a plethora of people you're talking to because you don't want to be emotionally like tied down to someone else, I think that's where a problem is. I also think you're going to end up wasting your time if you are sitting up here chatting with multiple people, because if you were chatting with maybe 2-3 people at the max, you'd progress with getting to know them instead of spreading yourself thin trying to get to know all these different people. You should prioritize connection rather than just having all these people to talk to. The last piece of dating advice that I've come across is number 6. Date with financial benefits in mind. Society often labels men being the providers and women being the caretakers, and so because of that, a lot of women obviously look for men who have their financials together. Financials do come into play when dating or getting into a relationship with someone. However, a lot of people are beginning to only focus on financials when it comes to creating a relationship with someone. There are some women who are out here prioritizing financial stability with a man rather than emotional and genuine connection. On one hand, your man is rich. But on the other hand, you might not have a very strong connection to him, which can make the relationship feel boring and stale and not fulfilling. Now, there are women out here who do genuinely only look for financial stability or for a man to financially support them. That is their own dating journey or dating approach. More women are starting to shift, and instead of looking for both a genuine connection with a man and financial stability, one of the things they're prioritizing is financial stability. I don't think that sounds like something that would genuinely last, mainly because you're not going to be fulfilled in the relationship. I just think that solely looking for somebody who is financially stable and that's it's a flawed plan. There could be, sort of like a power dynamic, and there could just be a lack of like emotion or connection, because the only thing you'd really be interested when it comes to this person is their money or what they can offer you financially. I don't think people should prioritize one or the other. I think yes, you should get a man who makes money, but I also think you should also get a man that you like. I see that a lot of women are just prioritizing the financials, which is cool, but you know that if you don't like the man that you are with, like, he has money, this shit is not gonna last. Some people, they may be very content with living that life, and good for them, but that's not something that I feel sounds like someone who is truly happy. Get you a man who can do both, can be someone you like and be someone who can spend some money on you. Overall, those are some of the dating advice that I have come across of some of the things I do agree with, some of the things I disagree with. Obviously, the conclusion I've come to when it comes to just dating is that it should be less about getting the man, and instead it should be about not losing yourself in the process of dating, because dating is an entirely different world. I think it's important to protect yourself. I think it's important to not neglect yourself while you're dating. I think dating can definitely be complicated. I highly recommend advice that surrounds prioritizing yourself and giving yourself the space that you need and taking care of yourself really when you are deciding to meet people, make connections, and date. You should be yourself, be authentically who you are, be confident, keep things light, and take care of yourself. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be all for today. I had a really fun time exploring quote-unquote obsession of keeping a man in today's dating advice. Let me know if you guys want to see more, or if you guys have any dating advice that has worked for you, and or just dating advice that you have been hearing a lot recently. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.